Socks are acting a little blue. Are you being conned by your calico kitten? Does your Frenchie have you totally freaking out? Well, if you love your dogs and adore your cats and really want to understand their behavior as well as they understand yours, or maybe you're just confused about why your dog or cat behaves a certain way, you know what to do, right? Stay tuned, because once again, right here, right now, it is time for the Pet Show. America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, and of course, pet lifestyle show. So hop up on my couch. Bring those furry little buddies with you, folks. It is that time once again to let the animal analyzing begin. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is the Pet Show. This is exactly what we're here for, to help you resolve any issues you may be having with your dogs or cats, or, as I always say, any issues your dogs or cats may be having with you. Jumping, digging, humping, mounting. Cat doesn't get along with the other cat. Cat peed on your pillow. Dog doesn't come when you call him. You take your dog for a walk. He sees another dog, and it's like Armageddon. You get the idea, right? That's what we do on the show. We'll help you resolve any issues that you may be having with your dogs and cats, and have some fun along the way as well. Got a few things to give away on today's show before I give out that phone number. I got some of those amazing air horns. By the way, we still have them for sale on the thepetshow.com. I don't know how much longer. People are starting to realize, yeah, you know, it's a lot safer walking my dog or myself with one of those air horns. I'll talk more about that a little bit later. But if you have a question or comment, want to share a great story about your dog or cat, great time to give me a call. I also have those amazing T-shirts that say, "None of my friends walk upright," and you know that money goes to help My Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, which I will talk about a little bit later. In fact, I'll read another letter coming up later from another group. Thanks to you. Bless you all. Thanks to you that we were able to help and save some more animals. So I'll read that letter for you guys in a little while. I get to thank you, but the thank you goes to you, my listeners. You deserve it more than anyone. We have a really, really busy show coming up. If you have a question or a comment or want to share a story, great time to call me. You know, I'm broadcasting today from beautiful Arizona. Well, it's about 112 today. It's going to be 117 this week. 117. God, you know, I miss Santa Monica. I miss LA. So here's what makes me feel better about the heat I have to deal with here. I turn on the local radio like KRLA, and I listen to the traffic reports in Southern California. And suddenly I don't feel as hot as I normally feel, even though it's 113 or 114 degrees. And that number here at the Pet Show, if you got a question or comment, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through, 866-870-5752. I will be answering questions on the phone. I'll take some questions on YouTube as well. If you want to see the face behind the mic, actually I got a new haircut. Doesn't look too bad. YouTube.com/Warren Eckstein. No comments, Alex. YouTube.com/Warren Eckstein. That is the way to get through. Let me tell you what's coming up on today's show, because normally I don't get to a lot of my subject matter, and that's when I put a lot of stuff on my YouTube channel. But today, I want to try to get to as many as I can, because some real interesting topics. Impulse control. What is impulse control? It's a very hot topic in the field of dog training and behavior. It's the ability of your dog to think before acting, like a pause button for your dog before they misbehave. Impulse control is so important to help things like bolting out the door, jumping, chasing other dogs. We're going to talk about impulse control coming up a little bit later. I wish more people had it. It's easier to teach to a dog than to human beings. Impulse control, big topic among behaviors right now. Also coming up, you know I adore cats. I don't have any cats living with me at the moment, but I love them. I had as many as 35 cats at one time. But are your cats con artists? Yeah, Warren said that. Are your cats con artists? You know, cats are usually not nearly as hungry as they act like they are. Cats are great actors and can be very dramatic when it comes to their food. So your cat convinces you that they're hungry. Maybe you just fed him. He still convinces you that they're hungry. I'm telling you, cats are amazing. When I wrote my book, How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want, I remember Letterman said, "Warren, you're crazy. Cats are not smart. Cats are not as smart as dogs." And I said, "Dave, you know what? Cats are just so smart they convinced all of us just to leave them alone." Also coming up on the show, you know, I have a close friend of mine in Arizona that lost their dog this week. And it's very, very difficult when anyone loses their dog and they have to say goodbye and the dog crosses the rainbow bridge. So we're going to talk a little bit later about something called disenfranchised grief. Now, you may not know what that is. What is disenfranchised grief? You know, for many pet owners, the pain of losing their pet is very, very difficult. why some people just don't recognize the grief of losing a pet as normal behavior. I'll explain coming up. Disenfranchised grief, shame. Also coming up, I don't know. This is kind of an interesting story. My wife Denise said, oh, you're crazy for doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. There was a story that came out this week that some pet guardians would date an AI version of their pets. As a generative AI becomes more common, this was the response of many, many people. So, if AI was able to generate your dog or your cat or your bird or your mule or your whatever, if AI was able to give you a human version of your pet, would you date them? Would you date them? I know it's kind of weird, but think about it. Think about how you get along with the personality of your dogs or your cats compared to the personality of those of us that walk upright. So, if AI could convert your pet into a human being, would you date him? As always, plenty of time for all your questions, some great stuff to give away. So, if your pet happens to be jumping or chewing or scratching, confused about the litter box, maybe that rescued puppy isn't housebroken, doesn't get along with other dogs, doesn't like certain people and humps everything in sight, great time to give me a call. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. And the question of the day is pretty simple. Would you date a human version of your pets? Would you date a human versions of your pets? It's kind of an interesting question. They give you so much less grief than people. I don't know. I think I would. I don't know. It's been so long since I dated. I have no idea. But I got to tell you, some of the dates I had when I was dating many, many years ago, I would much prefer to spend time with my dogs and my cats and my pigs and my chickens and my ducks and my... Anyway, also coming up on today's show, the last couple of months, I've been reading stories about, some of them taken from my autobiography, about things that went on in my career and my life. Today, I've shared this before, but I'm going to share it again. Today, we're going to take a look at how I had over 100 stitches in one of my fingers, bitten by an animal, but that's not the funny part of the story. Well, it's not funny, it hurt. That's not the funny part of the story. The funny part of the story is that I shared an emergency room with my closest friend at different times, and somehow we had the same doctor. I'll talk about that later. It's kind of an interesting story, and I think it's going to make you smile. It didn't make me smile at the time, 100 stitches in my finger, but will make you smile. By the way, another thing that really gets to me before I get to all this stuff is so many I trained for so many years in Southeast Asia and Europe, and trainers would show me the scars. Oh, look, this dog bit me, or this bit me, or I was training this, and they would brag about their scars. I'm embarrassed by my scars, totally embarrassed by my scars. Because every one of them was my mistake. Had nothing to do with the animal. It was my mistake. Don't brag about them. Be embarrassed. If you're that good, you shouldn't be bitten that often. Lots of stuff coming up. I'm in a weird mood today, so lots of stuff coming on. Bear with me, if you will. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through to the Pet Show. Would you date a human version of your pets? AI generated a human version of your pets? I want to know. Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Now, before I get to Eileen calling from Culver City, let me just go over this again. Again, for the last few months, you've heard me really promoting my 501c3 Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund. I'm going to read a letter about how you were able to help a small group. Again, I've been doing this every week. Please, if you have the opportunity, go to the website, hugsandkissesanimalfund.org. You can donate right there. There's a click-through button on thepetshow.com as well. Every penny that you donate goes directly to help those small mom and pops. So help me help them. They can really use it. You'll see what I'm talking about when I read that letter. And then you can all pat yourself on the back, because without your donations, I would have never been able to help this small group out that does absolutely incredible work. 866-870-5752. That's what happens when you do two different shows back to back. You kind of confuse the numbers. 866-870-KRLA. That is the phone number. Let me do this. How about we check out with Eileen calling from Culver City. Hi, Eileen. Welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. Thank you for taking my call.
It is my pleasure. What can I do for you?
Well, I've got a 5-month-old male rescue puppy, mixed breed, who I can't seem to be able to potty train because what he does a lot of times was he will pee on the pad, and then he poops right off the pad, right next to the pad.
Eileen, let me ask you a question. How many children do you have?
Right now, none of them.
No, how many human children do you have?
3.
Okay. The reason I say that is because when someone calls me up and say they're potty training their dog, I know right off the bat that they raise children. I've yet to see a dog sit on the john reading a magazine saying, hey, this is what it's all about. Let's get this resolved for you. First of all, how old did you say the puppy was?
He's 5 months old now. He hasn't been fixed yet. I'm waiting for a date for that.
Okay, so this makes it a little more difficult as well. He's 5 months old. He's intact. Bless you for rescuing him. Did he come from a shelter or a private group?
It was a shelter.
Okay, so therefore he was around
shelter.
a lot of other dogs, and sometimes that male instinctive behavior comes out early, where even though he's in your home, he's not going to want to pee and poop necessarily in the same area. This is a real easy problem to resolve. Listen to me carefully. Pick an area in the house that has a lot of traffic. Pick an area in the house that's convenient to let the dog out into the yard. And what I want you to do is take that entire area, and I want you to cover that area with the pads. So there's no opportunity for him to go anywhere but on the pads in that small area. What will happen?
Is that outside or inside?
Inside. You want him to go inside, right?
Yeah, I don't want him going inside. I'm trying to get him to pee and poop outside.
Oh, okay. I'm confused. Listen, I'm confused. It must be the heat in Arizona. Listen to me carefully. Here's what I want you to do. If you want to get the dog to go outside, have you been using the pads in the house?
Well, what happens is he sleeps through the night, and I'm able to get him to pee and poop the very first thing in the morning outside.
Okay.
It's like in the afternoon that if I don't catch him, sometimes he will pee on the pad in the house and then poop right next to it.
Okay, so what you've done by putting down the pads is you said to the dog, you know what, it's okay to go in the house, and it's also okay to go outside. So it's kind of like you're confusing the dog. You taught him to do something, now you want to unteach him. So here's what you need to do. Right off the bat, take some of the pads outside with you in the afternoon. Dirty pads. Put those pads under maybe 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch of dirt and grass in the backyard. The pads he's associating with going in the house. When the pads are down, he's associating going in the house. Now that the pads are outside, he'll start associating the act of eliminating with being outside. Once he's consistently going outside, then little by little, you can start removing the pads from that area. And make sure you clean up with a good stain and odor remover made specifically with pets that has enzymes in it. It should never take more than 12 to 14 days to totally housebreak a dog. Here's the problem. When there's a family involved, one person does it one way, another person does it another way. One person lets the dog use the pad, the other person doesn't bring the pad on. Establish a consistent pattern for 12 to 14 days, and I promise you, you'll be walking around the house barefoot in no time at all.
Thank you, Warren. I appreciate it.
Eileen, no, I'm not letting you get away so easy. Listen, because I'm in kind of a good mood today. I don't know why, but I'm in a good mood today. So here's the bottom line. You adopted a dog, and I adore you for doing that. Bless you, bless you, bless you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on hold, and you are going to have the opportunity to speak to the lovely Suzette, and I'm going to send you a copy of how to get your dog to do what you want. You have a 5-month-old puppy. Believe me, you're going to need it. I promise. Hey, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Coming up, impulse control for your dogs. We're going to talk about why cats are actually con artists. Disenfranchised grief, kind of an interesting topic. And the question of the day ties into this. Some pet guardians say that if they were able to establish an AI version of their dog or cat, that they would date their dog or cat. So that's the question of the day. Would you date a human version of your dog or cat? I'd love to hear from you. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. Share a great story, brag a little bit about your dog or cat, you've come to the right place. The phone number here at the Pet Show with questions and comments, 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. I do have some air horns to give away. I'm telling you, these T-shirts that say none of my friends walk upright. I got some T-shirts to give away, many, many different colors. In fact, they're actually sending me some new colors this week. They're sending me a color that they call purple. Imagine me in a purple shirt. You'll see it. They're sending me one that's called tropical blue and antique orange. Everything in my outfit is denim or black. Wait till you check me out in these new T-shirts that the lovely Julie, my assistant, is sending me to wear. Hey, before we get to the phones, and by the way, I got some open lines here, 866-870-KRLA. You can also ask some questions on YouTube. The response so far on YouTube to the question of the day is in terms of would you date an AI version? Someone wrote... I saw the short on YouTube. Thank you, Ken. I saw the short on YouTube, and it really made me think about how animals can manipulate us. Thank God they can. Let's see. I wouldn't date a human version of my pets. One is too needy. The other is cowardly, though they are both very, very handsome. Someone else wrote, I respect pets and animals, but I have my limits. I would date Molly, my dog Molly. If Molly was a human, I would date her as a dog. She makes me laugh. She makes me happy. She makes me smile. What else do you need? 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'd like to hear from someone out there. Is anyone out there recently or in the last few years maybe had to say goodbye to their dog or cat? They crossed a rainbow bridge, and how people reacted around them. Were they making you feel better? Did they make you feel worse? You know, I hate when people, it's just a dog, it's just a cat. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but I'd love to hear from some people that may have had an experience with not being supported when they had to say goodbye to their best friend. 866-870-5752. So listen, I don't have to tell anyone it's hot. I tried to get to this last week, but I didn't get the time. Of course, I ran out of time. What a shock. How much water does a dog actually need to drink? It's hot where I am. It's hot where you are. I just spoke to some friends. I'm wearing my Long Island Boxing Club T-shirt today. Some of my friends from Long Island. It's hot, hot, hot on the East Coast. So here's a good rule of thumb. A dog will need about an ounce of fluid per pound of body weight. An ounce of fluid per pound of body weight. Dogs really only perspire through their nose and paw pads. They kind of pant to get some of the heat out of them. And when they're panting, what they're doing is letting the cooler air run over their tongue. During the oppressive heat waves, keep an eye on your dog. If your dog is lethargic, has dry gums, thick, ropey saliva, your dog may in fact be dehydrated, and that's dangerous. And with older dogs, excessive thirst or dehydration could be the result of a medical condition. So check with your veterinarian, things like cancer, diabetes, liver and kidney disease as well. So making sure that your dogs and cats are getting sufficient amount of water is really, really important. It's kind of interesting that a lot of people have no idea how much water their dogs drink. Now, I'm kind of eccentric. Imagine I said that. I'm eccentric, and I watch my dog's intake of water. I watch my dogs every time they go outside and they poop. I watch them and whose looks good, who's a little... It's just the way I am, but I guess maybe because I hear the horror stories. But it's critical with the hot weather that everyone out there really, really, really focus on the heat and make sure their pets are getting enough water. And by the way, drinking ice cold water out of the refrigerator, I've yet to see an animal put ice cubes in their water. I put a couple of ice cubes in Molly and Willie's water only because no matter what I do in Arizona, when you put on the cold water, it comes out lukewarm anyway. But ice cold water is not really great for dogs. Normal cool water out of the sink is the way that animals would drink. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away as well. Now, a lot of stuff I'm going to get to you in a second, Judy, in Beverly Hills. Before I do that, though, I get a lot of questions about cats and correcting their behavior. And sometimes I say, leave them alone. But there are 3 basic steps to resolving cats' behavior that might be annoying you. Number 1, distract the cat from what they're doing that's bothering you. If you see a cat scratching on something, distract them. That's number 1. Direct the behavior towards a more appropriate activity. A new toy, maybe, something different, maybe. But that's definitely what I would recommend at this point. It must be real hot in here. I had some drool on my lip. After you've directed the behavior, offer a reward for good behavior, whether it be a treat, affection, or a little playtime. So 3 steps: distract the cat, direct the behavior to something more appropriate, and offer a reward for good behavior. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through to the show. Let's go right now to Judy in Beverly Hills. Hi, Judy. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I always listen to you for years and years. I love your show. I wanted to say you did send an air horn to me to give to my daughter who has 2 dogs, and she was walking them, and on 2 occasions the coyotes came along and didn't pay any attention to the air horn. They almost laughed at her. So she just, made herself big and made a loud sound, and I heard you reference the fact that you have one that's a more powerful air horn, and I think...
No, let me stop you for a second. What kind of dog does your daughter have?
Terriers.
Was she walking the dog by herself?
Yes.
And how many coyotes surrounded her?
She has 2 of them, yeah.
So how many coyotes were there?
1.
Okay.
And I didn't care if she did the air horn or not.
Did he grab the dog? Did he grab the dog?
He didn't, because she just happened to, when they didn't work, she made herself really big, she said. And
how does she know that the air horn didn't work?
Because she used it.
Okay, but the coyote didn't attack her dog. But the coyote did. Listen to me. I'm not going to argue with it. The coyote did not attack your dog, right? Your daughter's dog, right?
Yes, he was about to grab them, or one of them.
Okay.
And she wanted to protect her dog, and she used the air horn, which she carries with her all the time.
This is the first time. This is the first time in 15 years where the air horn has not worked. Sorry to hear it, really. Send it back to me if you want.
So,
I'm sorry it didn't work.
You used 2 different kinds of air horns.
They're just 2 different sizes. They're 2 different sizes, the same sound. However,
a stronger one.
No, they're both the same. They both sound the same. One's just bigger than the other. But anyway, listen to me. When the air horn was sent to your daughter, it came with 2 different attachments. One attachment that goes into it looks like a bellow, and there's another attachment that doesn't go into it. So you can either use it with the attachment or without the attachment. Now, I got to be honest with you, okay? I hear what you're saying, and my heart goes out to your daughter. But the bottom line is, 90% of the time, when a coyote gets that close to a dog, I don't care how big you are or how much you stand, the coyote's not going to stop. I have videos all the time of people playing big and having their dogs being grabbed by the coyote until they physically stopped it. So I don't know if it didn't work. I don't know if it was a combination. If you want to assume it didn't work, assume that, but I would tell your daughter maybe that coyote was deaf. I don't know. Maybe she should still continue carrying the air, because I can send you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people thanking the air horn people and thanking me for sending the air horn. I'm sorry it didn't work, but then you can know the only thing you might want to try is going to a sporting goods store and getting one of the air horns they use at football games, because these little air horns work incredibly well. Incredibly well. I don't know, maybe there was too much noise in Beverly Hills that day. And what are coyotes doing in Beverly Hills anyway?
Well, getting better food.
Yeah, I guess they're eating at Nate and Al's. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry it didn't work for you, Judy. But if she wants to get the larger size, she can go to the website. But the larger size, they all pretty much sound the same. So the bottom line is that you got me. I've yet to hear anyone else say that the air horn doesn't work. So only in Beverly Hills would I find out that my air horn doesn't work. It's not my air horn, but the air horn doesn't work. Believe me, if you take your dog for a walk, or you go walking by yourself, take an air horn with you. I don't care if you're in Beverly Hills, Culver City, or Costa Mesa. Take the air horn with you. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Someone's writing, coyotes become used to the air horn. How many air horns are you people using? In order for a coyote to get used to an air horn, you have to use it many, many, many times. And the bottom line is, coyotes usually one blast of the air horn and they take off, or they stop in their tracks. So either, I'm going to have to do a whole segment on how to use the air horn. That's what I'm going to have to do. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Quick break, then back to you, Mike and David. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. 870-KRLA. Going back to that last call about the air horn, during the commercial break, I did some research of my own on my own website. And the bottom line is, after doing my research, that 95% of coyotes will react to the air horn. 95%. So you had one of those 5% Beverly Hills coyotes that I guess was too spoiled to react to the air horn. Anyway, they do react to the loud noise. Now, things that they're used to are things like car horns. They get used to that. Or police sirens. They get used to that. Or fire sirens. They get used to that. But unless you're walking in a neighborhood where people are using the air horn 24/7, it has to be pretty. Or the air horn, or the coyote might have had some type of illness. I don't know, but that's very, very unusual. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through to the Pet Show. I got so many things to talk about. I want to get to the phone calls as well. The question of the day is, would you date a human version, an AI version of your pet? Well, I got my friend Pam Scholl, who rescues dogs, and she's writing, Warren, I used an air horn and citronella and the spray, and the coyotes ran like crazy. So I guess nothing is 100%. Not sending you another air horn. Go 866-870-KRLA. That is the way to get through to the show. Let me take another phone call here. Let me go to Mike in Westminster. Hey, Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren, how are you?
I am doing pretty darn good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. So my case, I've got an older Belgian Tervuren, so I'm experienced with Belgian Tervurens, but I've got an 8-month-old. Got him at 7.
Versus a Belgian Malinois. I don't get many calls about the. I don't get many calls about the Tervuren. I worked with them in Europe. I did Schutzhund work and ring sport work. They're amazing dogs.
Oh, they're beautiful. Very sight reactive.
Absolutely. So what made you decide on a Tervuren?
Well, my wife's always just loved the Tervurens. We've seen them, in books and whatnot. So, and actually, Cody, our 8-month-old now, is our 3rd Tervuren. So we've been very happy with the breed.
So tell me what your question is for me.
So the issue has been I've been working on him because he's did not get socialized quite as well as he should have been before I got him at 7 months old. And so he reacts very anxiously. I call it anxiety, not a chasing type thing, towards cars when we're going for a walk. And so I'm trying to figure out, maybe you've got some clues or ideas about why he reacts the way he does.
Okay, so let's talk. You got him.
Yeah, car standing still is fine, but if it's moving.
Yeah, you got him at 7 months old. Where did you get him from?
Yes.
Where did you get him
breeder.
from?
The breeder. Okay, and the breeder originally had been adopted or purchased by somebody at 8 weeks old, like they normally would, and they had him for 2 months. And this family, I think, was really into positive reinforcement, which we all are, but they really didn't know about establishing borders and saying no when no needed to be said. And so the dog tended to nip a little bit, and they got a little bit afraid by the puppy, and so they returned him back to the breeder. And the breeder had him for about 2 months before I drove out to Virginia from California to pick him up.
Okay, so let me go over a couple of things with you. This is not abnormal behavior. What happens is when dogs learn through association, the associative memory. Okay? So that simply means if he has a negative association with a car or cars, which your dog would, he was taken to a home, then he was taken in a car to someplace else where he was loved and taken good care of. Then he got into a car again, taken away from other dogs he might have been around, and brought to your home. So the car has no positive association with him in terms of getting in it to go somewhere. And I've worked with dogs that have had several or multiple homes in the past, and as soon as they get into the car, their association is the fact that they're going to be taken somewhere else. You have exactly the right idea. Go ahead.
But this isn't the idea of him being inside a car. Or in fact, I traveled cross country with him, and he was great in a car. I mean, he slept in the back seat. I had him in a crate for a while. Shift into the back seat. He was great riding in the car. It's the fact of when we're walking outside, like on the sidewalk, and a car is coming up, and he sees the car coming up, and he starts getting very anxious.
Okay, well, the anxiety of the car is very similar. It's not a matter of whether riding in the car, he might be great riding in the car, you're with him, but the sight of a car. Very often, there's a couple of reasons. Now, he's not chasing cars, is he?
No, not chasing. It's not a chasing thing.
Okay, here's what you need to do. Very simple procedure. I'm assuming you have some friends. I'm assuming you have some relatives. I'm assuming you have some neighbors. What I want you to practice doing is taking your dog out for a walk, having a friend or neighbor drive very slowly to where you are, open the door, get out of the car, knowing already the dog's name, handing the dog a treat, a toy, something very positive. What we want to do is what we call counter condition. Take whatever reaction, anxiety, and you're right, it's not aggression, it's anxiety. Whatever anxiety the dog has over the car issue when they're going by. What we need to do is redevelop that situation and let the dog think that when a car goes by, something positive is going to happen, not something negative. So that's where the counter conditioning really comes into play. So if you can have every day or every other day a friend, a relative, a neighbor, whatever, just kind of drive by slowly, stop the car, get out of the car. They already know the dog's name. And little by little, the dog will start associating positive things with cars rather than negative. Is it going to happen overnight? No. But you're dealing with a Tervuren, and, they're just brilliant dogs. I mean, the type of training I did with them wasn't basic training. I'm talking about ring sport training. I'm talking about Schutzhund training, Polizeihund training. This is really advanced training. I drug detection, all the stuff I did overseas. And so from my perspective, when you have a dog, usually there's something that they associate with cars. Maybe there's something they associate with a car going by. I can't go back and figure that out, but I can tell you that most dogs that have a situation or a fear or a phobia of something, if little by little we reverse that phobia, and turn it into something positive, we can resolve the situation. How's that sound?
Okay, so basically the car goes by, a person comes out, says, "Hey, Cody," and then maybe a treat or just a very positive petting and rubbing of the head, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that'll work. Or even, at first you might not even have them drive by. At first you might just have them pop out of a car that's sitting halfway down the block as you're walking.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not an uncommon situation. I'll give you an example. Years ago, I'm from New York originally. I know I have no accent, but I am from New York originally. And many of my listeners back in New York and many of the people I worked with in New York, the thousands of dogs, bottom line is they adopted or rescued dogs that came from suburban areas or rural areas, and they get into New York City and they're seeing cars and hearing noises and taxi cabs for the first time in their life, and they were anxious and panicky, very similar to your dog. And the result, and my response was basically what I'm telling you to do, only it's a lot more difficult in New York City because you can't control the noises and the guy running down the street with a pizza over his head. So basically, that's the resolution.
Stimulus,
Yeah, so and they're brilliant dogs. They're brilliant. But what people don't understand about brilliant dogs, whether it be a Tervuren, whether it be a Shepherd, whether it be any of those breeds, a Malinois, is that they're incredibly bright, but they're also very, very sensitive. You can hurt their feelings very easily, and that's something a lot of people don't understand.
Okay. Well, thank you for the tip, and I look forward to working with you in that regard.
And I look forward to you calling me back saying, "What a genius you are." Warren. Listen, don't go anywhere, Mike. I'm gonna put you on hold, and you know what, Mike? I'm gonna send you a T-shirt that says "None of my friends walk upright," and I'm sure that'll work for you. Wait till you see this. I'm gonna start wearing the T-shirts when I do the shows. When I get the new colors, what's the color I want to wear? I got to try this antique orange or purple. 866-870 KRLA 866-870-5752. You know what? Let me take a break here. Let me take a break. I'll get back to your calls right after this. 866-870 KRLA. Coming up though, there's an important subject I want to talk about. I explained to you that I had a close friend whose dog crossed the Rainbow Bridge just this past week. She lives right near me in Arizona. In fact, she's the person who I entrust Molly and Willie with when I travel. I'm not at at home, so you know how much I care about this person. So I want to share this. I was going to do this before she even knew she lost her dog, but I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Just some kind of tips on how to deal with that. The number 866-870-KRLA. A quick break, then right back to your calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is the Pet Show. Eckstein. You know, I've been pushing my YouTube channel a lot, so if you're not following me on YouTube, check it out, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. I'll be sharing a lot more there, and if you like the Pet Show, you're not going to want to miss being on my YouTube channel, and I'll be explaining more and more in the next couple of months why it's so important that you go, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Now, David, before I get to you, I want to talk about this. It's really, really an important subject. Everyone that's probably listening to the Pet Show right now, at one time in their life or not, has had to say a final goodbye to their best friend, being it a dog or a cat or whatever. So I wrote this up this week, and I'm going to share it with you right now. I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel as well. Hopefully it'll be helpful, not only to those people who had to say goodbye to their pet, but for those people that may not know how to react to someone who has. So listen carefully. I wrote this. It's very rare that I write something out, so I'm holding it up on my YouTube, people, so you can see that I actually typed it out on my computer. It's not something that I just want to talk about. So listen to me carefully. Psychologists describe this kind of unacknowledged loss as disenfranchised grief. It's a form of mourning that isn't fully recognized by social norms or institutions. The pain is real for the person grieving, but what's missing is the social support to mourn that loss. Grief isn't a problem to be resolved. So if someone you know loses a pet, don't change the subject, don't rush them out of their sadness, and don't offer solutions. Instead, here are a few other ways to offer support gently and meaningfully. Say their dog or cat's name. Ask what they miss most. Tell them how sorry you feel. Let them cry. Don't let them cry. Let them remember. And I wrote this week, and I shared it on Facebook, and a lot of people responded to it. So let me read it to you. Because when someone loses a pet, they're not just mourning an animal. They're grieving for a relationship, a rhythm, a presence that made the world feel kinder. What they need most is someone willing to treat that loss like it matters. I'm going to read that one more time because it's so important. Because when someone loses a pet, they're not just mourning an animal. They're grieving for a relationship, a rhythm, and a presence that made the world feel kinder. What they need most at this time is someone to treat the loss like it really, really matters. And that is so important. You know, I get so many calls, and over the years, we've cried together on this show, we've laughed together, but one of the most difficult calls is when someone calls up and they've lost their pet and they have no support around them, no support whatsoever around them. It's so difficult for that person. So I hope that helps you out. I will be posting that on YouTube this week, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. If you don't subscribe, please do. There's a reason I'm telling you it's important to subscribe. It's free. A lot of great information going up there as well. Phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. So I'm looking at my YouTube. I'm going to get right to you, David. I'm looking at my YouTube. And my friend Ken writes, someone needs to check the camera stand or table. It's wobbling in rhythm when first of all, my name is, you can call me Warren, when Mr. Eckstein movements. Well, let me tell you why. I have my legs crossed, and the table is right next to my knee. So when I'm talking and I'm moving my foot back and forth, which a lot of people do, it's not the camera, it's me that's screwing it up. So I take full blame for the movement. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let's go to David in Irvine. Hey, David, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren. Pretty heavy bit that I'm going to follow up. I'm going to follow it up with something funny, and then 2 comments on your air horns.
Sure, okay.
So my dog used to bark at garbage trucks, and because he hated them, and then they would move on after he barked at them, so he wins.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Okay.
Well,
now
I get this all the time when people say to me, "My dog chases cars." Why do you think dogs chase cars? Every time they chase a car, they win. The car runs away.
Yeah.
The same thing as the garbage cans. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. Now on air horns.
Yeah.
I've had an air horn that you sent me once, and I'm never fast enough to use it in the dog park because most dog park scuffles are over before I can reach it in my pocket.
Sure.
Second, It is possible, as one of your callers suggested a few calls ago, that coyotes are habituated to air horns, just like they're habituated to humans, standing up to them, screaming and flailing their arms.
David, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. How many air horns do you hear?
0.
Okay, so how are the coyotes becoming used to the air horns?
Because a coyote probably hears more than I do.
You think in the wild, where the coyotes live most of their life, they hear more than you do?
Not in the wild. I live in suburbia, and coyotes walk through here because of development, because of natural paths for them.
Right.
Okay.
But
and I'm not
even in your neighborhood, in your suburban neighborhood, I live in a suburban neighborhood in Arizona, I see at least 5 to 7 coyotes every day. So here's my question to you. Okay, so the coyotes are in your suburban neighborhood. How many air horns, I'm going to say this again, how many air horns in your suburban neighborhood do you hear?
0, and by the way, 5 coyotes would scare the crap out of me.
Well, you know what? You have to understand the thing. I love wildlife. So when I go out for my walks at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, I have certain coyotes that I kind of know. I make them afraid of me because I don't want them going near other people that might hurt them. But I make them fearful of me. But the only time you have to be a little fearful is when there's a group of coyotes. When I say 5 or 6, I'm not talking about all together. I may see 2 young ones together. But when you see a group of 5 or 6 or 7 coyotes, then you have to be a little bit more cautious, obviously. But I'm telling you, the air horn is instantaneous. Does it work 100% of the time? Let me know something that does. Let me know something that does. I've never found anything that works 100% of the time, including me. But the bottom line is getting used to something means continual exposure to it. So if a dog or a coyote is not continually exposed to something, I'll give you a prime example. I lived on Long Island, okay? And when I lived on Long Island, I lived not too far away from a firehouse. And when I first brought a couple of my adopted dogs or rescue dogs home, when they heard the fire horns, they went absolutely crazy. But 3-4 months later, they realized that nothing negative was going to happen. So when they heard the fire horns, they might howl with them, but they weren't anxious over them. So unless the coyotes...
That's what coyotes are doing.
Well, I guess there's an awful lot of people walking around Irvine with air horns. Thank goodness, Warren, my job worked. There's got to be hundreds of people walking around Irvine to make sure these coyotes are not fearful of the air horn. Great call, by the way, David. And I love you, David, for doing it. I'm going to send you a T-shirt. I love you for doing it, David. But the bottom line is, in order to become accustomed to something, you have to be exposed to it. If you're not exposed to it, how do you become accustomed to it? It doesn't work that way. Great call, by the way, David.
Agreed.
I love you. What kind of dog do you have?
Big old Jack Russell mix. 15 years old.
God bless you.
Full cataract in one eye. Can't hear well.
A Jack Russell terrorist. I'm getting a message that you've called before and I sent you something, so I'm going to donate your gift to another person, and I appreciate that phone call. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let me take a quick break and right back to your calls. People with these air horns. Last week, there were 7 people called me up and say, thank you for sending me an air horn, Warren. It saved my dog's life. Now the coyotes... I'm telling you, there's got to be a lot of people walking around with holstered air horns in Irvine, California. Hey, quick break. Speaking about air horns, if you don't have one, shame on you. Time to give me a call. Hey, just a reminder, I've been talking a lot recently about my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. And we've been able, thank God for you, we've been able to help an awful lot of people. I just received a letter. I'll share it with you when we come back. I just received another letter. We get a half a dozen every day from a group that we were able to help. Thank goodness my wife, Denise, who really runs the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, she picks out what organizations, and I got to tell you, she does amazing jobs. These are small organizations that no one's ever heard of, no one knows about. I'm going to read you the letter when we come back, but it's also important to understand that I'm not knocking the big organizations, the ASPCAs and the Humane Societies. They do good work, and I would never deny the fact that for the most part, they have millions and millions of dollars in bank accounts, and they raise money consistently. They have PR marketing people. These small groups that I'm talking about, they have no money in the bank. As soon as a dollar comes in, it goes out, kind of like my group. As soon as the dollar comes in and there's one animal in need, that dollar goes out. I'm going to talk more about the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund and how I'm asking for your help. Once again, plenty of time for your calls, lots of stuff to give away. The question of the day is, would you date a human version of your dog or cat? I want to know. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Plenty of time for your calls. I've got some T-shirts. I got some books. And yes, I have some air horns to give away as well. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. Behave the way they do or have any questions about their behavior or their care, great time to give me a call. Phone number here at The Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Plenty of time for your calls. Got some stuff to give away, T-shirts, air horns. I think I gave away one copy of my book. Also, coming up, the last couple of months, people have been saying, Warren, we want to hear stories about some of the strangest things that happened to you in your career. Some of them I can talk about. Some of them you would have to waterboard me to find out about them. But here's the bottom line. But by the way, the question of the day is: would you date a human version, an AI version of your pet? I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but let me just share this with you, okay? And then I'll see if anyone has the guts to respond to it. Shocking number of pet owners would date AI versions of their animals, study reveals. Most recently, pet owners on TikTok look to ChatGPT. See how much I use it, to strangely turn their dogs into humans. I guess I've never been on AI, so I guess on this chat GPT, you can turn them in. Survey results also show that over half of the pet owners tell their dogs, I love you, at least once a day. 30, 40 times a day. Bizarre as the trend is, pet owners' eccentricity doesn't stop there. A recent MetLife survey polled 1,000 individuals on various questions that explored how deeply people's lives are influenced by their pets. And spoiler alert, some people are very interested in their furry friends. Of the respondents who were familiar with the anthropomorphic trend, 31% admitted they would date the human version of their pet. 31% said that they would date the human version of their pet. I guess my audience doesn't agree with that. I think I would. I guess if I was in a dating mode and what personality of my dogs or cats or any animal, what personality would I dislike? In other words, they're totally in love. They're not selfish. I don't know. I guess maybe I would. What about you? Would you date a AI version or human version of your pet? I want to know. Give me a call. The phone number 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through to the shows. Also, I'm writing a story this week, something for YouTube. And if you're not with me, check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Hopefully I'll get to it. Maybe some of you people even have this part of me. I'm going to talk about something called what I call single cat syndrome or single kitten syndrome. Not every kitten that is adopted alone will display these behaviors. Most adapt very well to their homes without any problems. But however, very often people that have what's called single kitten syndrome, it's a real thing. It's not something made up. In fact, I'm going to write about it. I started writing about it. When a kitten is adopted alone, will they get lonely or more prone to unwanted behaviors? They say that there's a thing called single kitten syndrome, which describes the behavioral issues that can arise when a litter grows up without litter mates. I can go over how to fix it. Hopefully we'll have time. Maybe I'll do that a little bit later on today's show. But it's so true. If anyone out there has a single kitten that maybe reacted or has behavioral issues, I'd love to hear from you guys as well. Before we do that, let me do this. Someone had texted me and they want to, okay, what's the story you're going to talk about? Here's the bottom line. I may have talked about this before, so if you heard it before, just bear with me. In the 80s, the late 70s and the 80s and early 90s, if you watched Saturday Night Live in the 80s, by the way, the only time it was good, but if you watched Saturday Night Live in the 80s and you saw an animal on Saturday Night Live, whether it be an earthworm, a dog, a cat, you can rest assured that I was there with the animals, okay? And I got a call from the people at Saturday Night Live and they said, Warren, we're doing a segment. We need a mongoose for the segment we're doing. All right. Where does one get a mongoose? Well, luckily I have a friend of mine that works for the rescue group, and they had a rescued mongoose. Who else would be able to find a rescued mongoose on Long Island? I did. And so I said, can I borrow your mongoose for a Saturday Night Live? And he said, of course, I can go up there and I can meet all these great people. I said, sure, come on with me. So I bring the mongoose to my office, and he never told me that the mongoose has this incredible hatred for dogs. So the mongoose got a little loose from the cage and was going after a senior dog I had there. So I had no options but to grab the mongoose by the tail, which I did. The mongoose turned around and bit my finger. And when I say bit my finger, literally to the bone, it was hanging off. And I said to my wife, Faye, at the time, Faye, we lost a finger, but I got 9 more. I'm okay. I think we ought to get to the hospital. I may need some stitches. I was bleeding like crazy. So we go to a local hospital in Oceanside, Long Island. And the doctor's there, and he looks at my finger, and he goes, and he was from Pakistan, so he had an accent, a real strong accent. He said, what happened? He said, I got bit by a mongoose. He said, what kind of dog? I said, no, not dog, a mongoose. No, dog. What kind of, a mongoose? I didn't get bit. He didn't get it. So anyway, he stitched up my hand. It was like 85 to 100 stitches in my finger, put the finger back on. The finger's fine now. And then he said to me, listen, in his broken accent, that's nothing. There was a guy here a few days ago that was bitten by a shark on a boat. One of my friends, my closest friend, Warren Eckstein, is no longer with us. I lost him about a year and a half ago, just like brothers. He was an avid fisherman, and he would go out fishing all the time. And they were fishing on the Long Island Sound or just Jones Beach, right off the ocean, right there. And he caught a shark, and he was taking the hook out of the shark's mouth to throw the shark back in the water. And the shark turned around and bit him on the hand, giving him a severe shark bite. So the doctor at the emergency rooms, after I convinced him that it was a mongoose, said, that ain't nothing. He said, there was some jerk in here just a few days ago that almost lost his finger because he was bitten by a shark. Turned out to be my best friend. So within a few days at the South Nassau Community Hospital in Oceanside, Long Island, he had me, this moron, come in being bitten by a mongoose, and then was laughing because there was someone dumber than me that was bitten by a shark while the shark was in the boat, and turned out to be my best friend. Saturday Night, I got to tell you some more stories about Saturday Night Live, and I'll do that over the next couple of months. But it was an interesting time, and there was, there were times when Belushi was there, and times when later on when it was the new crew, and it was kind of interesting. 100 stitches in my finger. Yeah, a mongoose, no big deal. The other guy was bit by a shark. Phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870 KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let's go to Lisa in Hawthorne. I don't know. Lisa, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm here.
I'm listening. What's up, Lisa?
I think so. This is a terrible, terrible thing to have to talk to you about. But I came home a week ago yesterday and saw a cat that was actually cut in half. I'm not. Hello, are you there?
No, I'm listening. So you saw the cat cut in half where?
Well, half of the cat, the front half, was on my property. And the other half, nobody. I don't know where it went. What happened.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
How do you think the cat got cut in half? Was it cut in half by a human being, or was it by a wild animal?
Well, it almost seemed like a human being to me, because it was cut right in half. It was like
did you report it? Did you report
an animal? Yes. You're not going to believe this. I called the police about it, and they just didn't even want to get involved. I couldn't believe it. I was so upset.
Here's what I would do. It's too late now, but when you see something like that, I would have taken a photograph, disgusting as it might be. I would have taken that photograph. I would have went down to the police station. If the police did nothing about it, I would have taken that photograph. I would have sent it to every news station in Southern California, KTTV, KTLA, KNBC, whatever station you have to send it to. And they would pick up on the story. So the bottom line is, we want to find out what happened. Is there some crazy person going around killing cats? Would not be the first time I had to do a story like that. Or is this was it an animal that maybe did it? So we don't know. So I just wish we had photos of it, because photos would have made a difference at this point. It breaks my heart that the police did not do anything about it. But when someone tells you no, I learned something. I learned something a long time ago. Never take a no from someone who can't give you a yes to begin with. So if the police at the station told you no, go above. Let me speak to a lieutenant. Let me speak to a captain. Let me go above you. Let me go above you. Let me go above you. A lot of people say no, no, no. Don't accept that no from someone who can't give you that yes in the first place. My heart breaks for you having to see that, Lisa. It really does. But if there are anyone else who saw it, did you post it? Have you posted on Nextdoor?
Yes.
Or
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, believe it or not, listen to this. The owner of the cat saw it, but she didn't even seem to be emotional about it at all.
Yeah.
She didn't act like it mattered to her at all. She acted like,
well, I can only deal with the psychology of the animal, not the psychology. Yeah, it's horrible story. Great call, by the way. Not a great call, but an interesting call, Lisa. But here's what I would do: is I would write it up as best you can. If other people saw it, I would get their names and addresses. I would go back to that police department. Because all the studies indicate that anyone that can do something as horrible as cutting a cat in half, if that were the case, can be the type of person that would do that to a child or an adult. Every one of the mass murderers, and I researched them all, Jeffrey Dahmer, all of them started out abusing animals. So this might be indicative of something that's going on in the neighborhood if, in fact, it was done by a human being. So I would go back to the police department. I would don't just accept that no. Go above their head. If other neighbors saw it, get their signatures and bring it with you. Thank you for letting us know that. This was in Hort. Thank you for letting us know, Lisa. And if you see anything or hear anything, please get back to me, okay?
Do you want me to email you or do you want me to call you?
You can email me, mail@thepetshow.com, mail@thepetshow.com.
I have another thing I have to tell you. You're not going to believe this one, too. I was at my neighborhood library. I live right by a library, which is very nice. I was using the Internet there, and I was trying to go online to talk about animal rights issues, and they blocked me.
Yeah. You know what? Another time, another topic. You write all this stuff down. You document it all. You send it to me, and then I can do something. But in the meantime, I can't. Great call, by the way. Horrible story. Found a half a cat, but it's true. Anyone will tell you that researched and did stories on human abusers. They start out as animal abusers. Even domestic violence very often starts out by someone abusing the animal in the household and then transfer it to the people. Breaks my heart. I definitely want to get to you. I got to take a break, but I definitely want to get to you, Carrie, in Newport Beach. I definitely want to get to you, Jason, in Santa Clarita. I got some T-shirts and some other things to give away. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. We're going to take a break here, okay? When I come back, I'm going to get to the phone call, but before I do that, I'm going to read a letter. I'm holding it up right now. Little delay between YouTube and me, but I'm going to hold up this letter. I'm going to read this letter on the air. This is a group that my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund was able to help thanks to you, and bless all of my listeners. I'll give you information on how you can donate to the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, and rest assured that when you donate, whether it be a check or a credit card to Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, when you donate to the fund, here's the difference. There's no public relations. There's no marketing. There's me, there's Denise, and my assistant, Julie. And here's the bottom line. Every single penny you donate to the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund directly will go directly to the shelters. No expenses are taken out. I cover the expenses myself. I want all these small mom and pop organizations to be able to continue doing what they do best, helping the animals in dire straits that the big organizations would never get to. I'll tell you more about that when we come back. A quick break, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm Warren Eckstein. I love that song because it reminds me of me. I'll never grow up. That's my wife, Denise. I will never, ever, ever grow up. I stayed at 18. Little older, physically, but mentally, 18's my age. Hey, listen, before I get back to the phones, I'm going to get to you, Carrie. I'm going to get to you, Jason, I promise. I just want to share this because, it's not that often I ask you guys for help, but when I'm telling you that my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund really needs you now, believe me, you know that the shelters are all full no matter where they are, but not only the shelters, the small mom and pops who have the dogs and cats in their homes, and these are the people that need you. Let me read a letter that we just received. It comes from Delmarva Cat Connection, located in Ocean Pines, Maryland. We hit them from coast to coast, coast, north to south. This was sent to Dear Denise, that's my wife. We are writing to thank your organization, Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, for the generous grant. Your support is tremendous help towards our goals of no more homeless cats. Delmarva Cat Connection is an all-volunteer 501c3 organization. We've been helping stray and abandoned cats and kittens on the eastern shores of Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia since 2001. We rely on concerned people and organizations such as yours who are willing to share the cost of fostering these homeless pets and kittens until they can be placed into loving homes. It will be used for food, litter, medicine, vet bills, or spay and neuter expenses while they're in our care. Last year, we were able to find wonderful homes for 200 cats and kittens and hope to save more this year. Everyone there is a volunteer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is just one of the dozens and dozens of organizations. When you go to the website, Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, read the thank you letters that were sent to the organization from people all over the country, people that I would have never been able to help if it were not for you, my incredible listeners. My incredible listeners, you guys are amazing, but don't stop. The problem is getting worse. You know the shelters are all full. This is the choice that these animals have, is these small mom and pop organizations. So when you donate, go to my hugsandskissesanimalfund.org. You can use PayPal, you can use money order, you can use whatever you need. And there's also an address there if you want to send a check. I know a lot of people don't like donating online, but if you want, there's an address there where you can send a check. We'll take that check. It'll go from my hand right into the bank account, right out to make sure that those animals that need help are in dire straits get it. Again, check out hugsandskissesanimalfund.org. All right, phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Let's go to Carrie in beautiful Newport Beach. Hey, Carrie, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing fine, Carrie. How about yourself in beautiful Newport Beach?
I'm doing great. Just walking my dog, having a great time.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have a golden doodle. And, you know, about your AI question,
Yeah.
why wait for it to be AI human? I date my dog now. I mean, I take him out to eat. I take him to coffee. I talk to him. He's great. The only thing that if he was human, maybe he could pick up the check every now and again.
There you go. There you go. If dogs had pockets and thumbs, we'd be all taken care of, Carrie. So, in other words, you find... Are you married or are you single now?
I am married, and you know what's funny is that I love to take my dog, and this is horrible. I know my husband's not listening, but he would know this anyway. But I like to take him to dinner with us, and I like to go out to dinner, only places where we can take the dog, which is a lot of places. But because I want somebody to talk to.
Yeah, and someone to talk to that's a great listener, and husbands and wives usually are not the best.
Yes.
So you're not going to wait to date. Yeah, you're not going to wait to date your doodle. You're dating. It's a great call. I love this call because I think that a lot of people already do that.
I was in Fashion Island having coffee with my dog, and he had a cappuccino. And I was talking to him, and the guy next door, he says, at the next table, he says, "I swear that your dog knows exactly what you're saying." And I go, "He does." I'm like, that's not a question.
So let me follow up. Carrie. Do you think dogs flirt with the people they live with?
Oh, 100%. Oh, and he gets mad at me, and he just, he flirts with me. He knows how to get his way. If I say I'll be right back, and it's maybe an iffy if he can come, he gives me those eyes, and he gets his leash, and he knows how to get his way. He's a manipulator.
I had this incredible conversation with my wife Denise this morning. I have my two rescue dogs, Molly and Willie, right, brother and sister. And over the years, and this is not cut in stone, but I really find that for the majority of the time, male dogs tend to be more attracted to females, and female dogs tend to be more attractive to men. It's not cut in stone. It doesn't always mean it happens, just in my experiences, okay? This morning, I'm sitting on the couch watching my new favorite show, Storage Wars. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. For some reason, I'm watching Storage Wars, and Molly comes up and sits on my lap, and we're hanging out, and Willie looks at me, kind of, all right, and walks into the other room where Denise is working on her computer. So I really believe, the bottom of my heart, that Molly was flirting with me and Willie was flirting with Denise. Now, I'm not jealous or envious, don't take me wrong, but I really do believe that the relationship with our dogs, the relationship with our cats, a lot of people don't understand how close that is. I may be joking about dating or whatever, but a lot of people, you cannot go to a place in Los Angeles or California that accepts pets that will not see dogs sitting in the patio areas with their guardians out there. And you're absolutely right. I have been to places. I lived in Santa Monica for 30 years. I used to go to many different places where there was a single person. I think there was a Mexican restaurant, correct me if I'm wrong, Gilberto's in Santa Monica. I would go there. It's a Mexican restaurant open for breakfast, by the way, excellent. I would go there and people would bring their dogs there, and I would sit there and watch people having full conversations, political conversations with their dog. And I said, you know what? That's the kind of person I want as a friend. That's who I want to hang out with.
100%. And you know what I think is that, like, if something happened to my dog, I would need to get another because he just helps me work through my issues. And if I was sitting there by myself, I would look crazy. Now I just look like I love my dog.
Yeah, you're absolutely. Yeah, you know, you can't talk to yourself. Well, maybe you can. I've seen a lot of people talking to themselves. But nowadays, it's okay to talk to your dog. I legitimately, and not so much with Molly and Willie, because I'm not walking them right now because it's 116 degrees where I am in Arizona. So they go out into my backyard, okay? But when I walk my dogs, and when I was living in Santa Monica or on Long Island, and I would take them for long walks, and I lived pretty much on the beach in Long Island, in a town called Oceanside, Long Island. And by my shirt, I'm bragging about my shirt. It says Long Island Boxing Club. And when I would walk on the beach with any number of dogs that I had, or when I was doing some training on the beach, I would have full-on conversations. There were things, if my dog spoke English, I would probably be in jail.
Yeah. You know, and I talk to him about what's coming up and what a beautiful flower, and even, you know, like, oh, you're the best dog. Well, maybe not the best dog. You should have done this differently. I mean, I have a conversation with him, and I swear he gets it. You know.
No.
So
there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. The best conversations. Listen, I spent a lot of time in not too hospitable areas of the world. You know, Libya, places that you don't want to be in. And I'm telling you, the conversations. My dogs always reminded me, whether it was a working dog or not, they always reminded me of home. And when I was training dogs for the Schützen work in Europe, there were times that these heavy duty German soldiers and policemen come to me, what are you doing, hugging that dog, Warren? What are you doing? Talking to that dog, Warren. I said, this is the way you get through. And you know what? The more the dog falls in love with you, the more the dog respects you, the better relationship you have with the dog, the better that dog's going to protect you. And those were the dogs I was working with.
They want to make you happy. And it's the same with little babies. I mean, people talk to little babies. They don't talk back, but you are developing a relationship.
Yeah, you know, but dogs housebreak much faster than little babies.
Dog housebreak, and they don't ever talk back. Well, they maybe a little get mad.
Yeah, well, my little Molly talks back. Sometimes I think the language is not so colorful either. Anyway, great call, by the way, Carrie. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to send you a T-shirt that says "None of my friends walk upright," and go have some coffee and a conversation with your dog. I love my listeners; they're absolutely the best. Let me do this. Let me take a quick break, Jason. I'm going to get to you as soon as I come back. I promise. And then we'll get to Rick in Long Beach. Great time to call me. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Why do I never get to all my topics? I'm going to try to get to some when we get back. Quick break, then right back to all of your phone calls. Bye. Phone number 866-870-KRLA. Again, if you want to help me out, check out hugsandkissesanimalfund.org. Or you can go directly to the website, thepetshow.com. There's a click through there as well. Right now, let's go to my friend Jason, calling from beautiful Santa Clarita. Hi, Jason. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Warren.
Yeah, Jason, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing pretty darn good. It's a little warm where I am, but other than that, I'm doing pretty well. What can I do for you?
Well, in your comment about if you were to date the human version of your pet, I have a twist on that one.
Yeah.
I had a male desert tortoise who was totally alpha, totally macho, and he would, he would just he ran the backyard. But I had a girlfriend at the time, and we both rode motorcycles. And when I would have my black motorcycle boots on, because I had a little pin when I went out that I knew he'd be safe in there when I was gone, he would charge over and attack my boots, draw in, ram it with his horn, and all. But hers, he wouldn't do anything. As a matter of fact, you could almost see like he just fell in love with her, and he's almost like if I was a car, you see little hearts, coming up with, and he could pick her up, he'd scratch his neck, and he scratches, and she told me, she goes, if there was a human version of him, I would dump you and date him. And so,
were you a little jealous at that point, Jason?
I was kind of.
Listen.
Like, wow, that's.
Well, I'll tell you an interesting dating story in a few seconds. But I've been doing this show now for, I guess it's close to 50 years, 45 years on the radio, longer than that on TV and radio. And if there's one word I would like to see scrubbed from the English language, it's the word alpha. Of all the years, it's the first time I heard of an alpha tortoise. And everyone's alpha. This is an alpha woman. This is an alpha. This is alpha this, alpha that, alpha that. No, I don't like the word alpha. Anyway, great story. And tortoises are how old? Do you still have the tortoise?
Well, yes. See, what happened when I married my ex, she had a daughter, and knowing that I was getting on in years, I wanted to pass him on to somebody I know with,
Sure.
And so I gifted him to her, and again, her being a female, they just got along great because she's a big animal. She's a big animal lover. She had my tortoise. She had a cockatiel, a parrot. What else? Tortoises are mating. One
of my good friends, in fact, Joy, who runs Rescue Me Inc., a great organization, by the way. I helped them out on their board. She has this great tortoise in her yard. They're amazing animals, but they're kind of like certain types of parrots that when you live with them, a lot of people don't understand the concept that tortoises are going to live for a long, long time. Some of these birds, 60, 70, 80 years as well, some of the macaws. And so when you hear about someone leaving a bird or that's why it's so important that when you have a dog and you're getting older or getting on in years or becoming like me, chronologically challenged, then it's a good idea to make sure that there's backup there if something were to happen to you, or if it was just natural causes because the tortoise or some of the birds might outlive you, and it's important for them to go. You can go to shelters all across this country, and you'll see dogs and cats, but you'll also see tortoises, you'll see guinea pigs, you'll see people that have not prepared for that, and especially animals that live for long times, like specifically tortoises and some of the giant parrots.
Yeah.
So do you have any pets right now, Jason?
No, not right now. I'm the one that called earlier. I had the raccoon that come by and visit.
Oh, yeah. So but I'm a little confused. Are you still married to the same woman you were jealous over because of the tortoise?
We've been separated now for about 10 years now. So no.
Did the tortoise have anything to do with the separation?
Hey, you know what? Now that I think about it, it may have.
I was just going to say, how do you go in front of a judge and say, "Listen, I want a divorce. I want to separate. My tortoise likes my wife better than it likes me, and I can't deal. I can't deal with that." Great call. But listen, Jason. Go ahead.
I wouldn't have the heart to take it away from the daughter and stuff. So
no, of course not. Of course not. Yeah, it takes a very big heart to do what's right for the animal, even though it might not be right for you. It takes a real big heart.
And,
anyway, Jason, did I send you something last time?
Yes, you did. You sent me a T-shirt, so I'm good. But thank you.
Okay, good. So I'm going to donate. I'm going to donate something to a rescue organization in your name. So, Jason, did you say you have no pets now, or you do?
No, I don't.
No pets now?
No, I don't.
Go play with your raccoon, all right?
Yes, my raccoon. I'm looking at getting a German Shepherd, but I've been so busy with.
When you're ready for a German Shepherd, there are some great German Shepherd rescues. There's German Shepherd Rescue, West Side German Shepherd Rescue, Orange County, Coastal. There are a lot of German Shepherd rescues, but don't negate the fact that 25% of all dogs at shelters are purebred. I have a friend of mine, a close friend of mine. As a matter of fact, he used to work right at the station. Incredible guy, an amazing guy. loves animals, but for some reason he was single and had a big area that was unfenced. So the rescues refused to give him or adopt to him one of the German Shepherds. They didn't think it would have the greatest home. Let me go back. 3 years later, he's now rescued 2 German Shepherds and 2 other rescue dogs, living the life of Raleigh, as happy as they can possibly be, where maybe the dog he would have gotten because they were a little too tough at the rescue, maybe the dog he would have gotten is still at the rescue and never found out. I love the rescues, God bless them, but sometimes I think they have to be a little bit more understanding about getting a good home for the dog, and I don't think they're always choosing the right one. I'm telling you, this guy, my friend Art, he has 2 German Shepherds from shelters, 2 other dogs, or 1 other dog he rescued, takes them on camping trips, takes them all over the place, spends days, just loves them. So great. Anyway, when you're ready and you're ready for another turtle, you're ready for another dog, give me a call. Great call, by the way. I appreciate it. Jason, keep listening to the Pet Show. I love calls like that. That should be a question. Are you jealous over your pet's relationship with your significant other? Are you jealous over your pet's relationship with your significant other? I'm keeping that in the back of my head for the future. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. You know what? Let me take a break. When I come back, I want to talk about this because so many of my listeners, I'm going to put this on YouTube as well. So many of my listeners, both here in my National Canadian show and Radio America show, don't know what impulse control is all about. And I want to talk about it because so many dogs wind up in trouble because of it. So we're going to talk about some impulse control when I come back. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. 2 reminders. Number 1, if you're not following me on YouTube, I'm letting you know that you should be for many, many different reasons, but now is the time to follow YouTube. It's not a matter of pennies. I don't make a nickel when you go to YouTube. It's just because I'm going to be able to go into a lot more detail of certain things about animal behavior. So youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Subscribe when you're there. It can make a difference. And while you're there, either YouTube, when you're done with YouTube, I want you to go either to my website or I want you to go to hugsandkissesanimalfund.org. If you think I'm talking a lot about Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, then you come here during the week and wipe away my tears and wipe away Denise's tears and Julie's tears from all these organizations, literally dozens coming in every day. And one of the things that we're known for is being the poorest rescue or poorest humane society. Because when money comes in, we try to get it out as fast as we possibly can. Because they don't need it tomorrow. They don't need it next week. The dog or cat that needs to be saved today. Check out Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund. Donate what you can. I'm telling you, 100% will go directly to help the small mom and pops who you know do the majority of work. 866-870-KRLA. A quick break, then right back to your calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. We are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Before I get back to the phones, let me just do this story because I want to get it out. Impulse control in dogs. It's one of the biggest problems that dog guardians may have. Listen to me carefully. I'm also going to post this. This is why I'm telling you go to YouTube. So listen to me carefully. What is impulse control in dogs? Impulse control in dogs refers to their ability to pause and think before acting. It's kind of like their mental pause button. The skill is absolutely significant because it influences how dogs react to their environment. A dog with strong impulse control doesn't jump on guests, bark excessively, or dart out the door at every opportunity. They understand and they think before they react, just like a smart person, thinks before they react. Here are some of the common mistakes that create the problem. One major misstep is over-rewarding the dog during training sessions. If treats or praise come too frequently or at the wrong times, it can confuse your dog about what behavior is being reinforced. Instead, reward them specifically for calmness and patience. That's what it's all about. Now, so many people train their dogs, and even trainers, using food rewards. And for years I said no food rewards, but I've changed. You want to use food rewards, that's fine. But you have to use something called variable reinforcement. That means sometimes food, sometimes not food, to get the dog to react when there's no food around. Another common mistake is inconsistent commands. If multiple family members use different words or tones for the same command, your dog may not understand what's expected of them. Keeping commands consistent across the board is essential. Impulse control. one of the most important things about training the advanced dogs I did, whether it be, I'll give you an example. When you're teaching a dog to sniff out a bomb or an explosive, if the dog goes there and gets excited and starts digging or barking, you may not come back. The bomb is going to explode. So you have to teach that dog that impulse control to go there and freeze, or just to sit, not to bark, not to move, just freeze, and you'll be safe. Impulse control. I'll do more about that on YouTube, so check it out. Let me get back to the phone lines here. 866-870, 870 KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Let's go to Rick in Long Beach. Hey, Rick, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Listen,
I'm doing good.
My question is, this is a couple of weeks ago, I was at the post office, and this little kitty was running in between cars, and they were trying to drive out of the parking lot. And I normally, not into this kind of thing, but I just could just let it sit. I thought it was going to get squashed.
Sure.
So I ended up getting into somebody's wheel well, and I told the lady, there's a cat in your wheel well. And we tried to get it out, and it wouldn't come out. But luckily, there was a tire store across the street, and so she drove it across the street, and they jacked it up, and they had to move a plate to get it out of there. And they put it in a box for us, and I asked her, do you want a cat? She says, no. Looks like I'm stuck with it. But I've had it a couple of weeks now, and it's cute and all that sort of thing. It's about 5-6 weeks old. It's about 1.5 pounds. But I can't have a cat. I don't have the room for it. I don't have the time for it. And quite honestly, I just like living by myself. So I was wondering. I tried Long Beach City. They said, where'd you find it? I said, Lakewood Post Office. Oh, you have to go to the county. So I called LA County, and they said, where do you live? I said, Long Beach. Oh, you have to go to Long Beach.
Okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about, Rick. Exactly. Those organizations are great. Whether it be Long Beach, whether it be whatever, they're great, and they're full, and I understand that they're full. But when did they give you an alternative? No, they didn't give you an alternative.
I asked around. So I'm calling you.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, that's why I say sometimes the small organizations, the organizations that my Hugs and Kisses Animal Funds help, are the ones that really can make a difference. Two things. Number one, there are some amazing cat rescue organizations in Southern California. If you go to my website, thepetshow.com, there's a list of organizations. I need to update it, but there's a list of organizations. By the way, if you're involved with a cat rescue, and I know there are people out there, Yvette, I know you're listening, perhaps, and if you can kind of send me an email, what I want you to do is I want you to shoot me an email. I'm going to give you my email. Shoot me an email, and if there's a group out there that can help you out with finding a home for this. How old did you say it was? 5 or 6 weeks old?
Right.
That can find a home for this. Yeah, we're going to need to find a home for this little kitten. So here's what I want you to do. Send me an email. Here's my email address. It's simply mail@thepetshow.com. Mail at thepetshow.com. Okay? Send me an email. Give me mail at thepetshow.com. Send me an email. Give me the information about the cat. And if there's a group out there that will help my friend Rick, who saved this cat from ultimate destruction. And the thing to me, the thing that really bugs me, and it's not against the shelters, but they should have given you an alternative. Why don't they give you a list of organizations that are out there? Why did they just say no? The word no should never come out of someone's mouth. There should be an alternative.
Watch it till it disappears and just leave.
Yeah, there should be an alternative. There's got to be an alternative.
Oh, they can survive. Oh, no, they can't. Maybe a cat can, but not a kitty.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely right. That's why I hope you guys, I know I'm talking about it till my ears are going to fall off. I hope you guys are going to help me with the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund so I can get these small organizations
I can't hear you.
out and up there. I just hope that people will help me with my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund. So the small organizations that will ultimately help you save this kitten are the ones that deserve it. Great call, by the way. What I want, Rick, send me that information. And if there's a cat group out there or an organization out there that can help Rick out, I'll hook you guys up together. And hopefully the twain shall meet and we can save this kitten. And bless you for having the heart and the gusto to save this cat. I really do appreciate it, Rick. My listeners, here's a guy who doesn't want a pet, can't have a pet, but yet his heart told him that he can't let this pet go through this trauma. Love you guys. Love you guys. Love you guys. Let me take a quick break here. We have time, Mary. Margaret, we'll get back to you. The phone number here, 866-870. Carrie, I'm also going to give you the phone number when I come back from my national Radio America Armed Forces Radio. I'm going to give you that phone number because that show starts as soon as I get off the air here. So if you didn't get a chance to call, if you're out driving around or whatever you're doing, I'll give you that number. Same type of show as well. Right now, let me take a quick break, then right back to your phone calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. Back on The Pet Show, I'm Warren Eckstein. When I was growing up, man, you couldn't come near me. I had Rin Tin Tin, or Smokey, my little chubby German Shepherd that my dad bought at Macy's, would be there with me, and we go out and we played Rin Tin Tin all the time. We're back on The Pet Show. Let me go to Mary Margaret in Arita. I hope I got that right. Hey, Mary Margaret, welcome to The Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. Yeah, it's Arita. And
Arita, okay.
I'm really, really upset because I don't know what to do. There are coyotes all over here. And I don't know. I mean, we're not near a national forest or anything. It's crazy. But they've been attacking little dogs, and I think I heard an attack last night on another street. I couldn't get to it, but when you hear a little dog barking, there was a bunch of them, and they're barking like somebody had just come home, and then you hear this blood-curdling.
Yeah, I know exactly. Listen, I know exactly what it sounds like.
Oh, my God. It just
let me give you.
How do we get rid of coyotes?
We don't get rid of coyotes. They were there before us. That's number one. We build on their land, number two. Here is the bottom line, okay? I have two little dogs. One weighs 12 pounds. It's on a diet. The other one weighs 10 pounds, okay?
Yeah.
I have an enclosed backyard, totally fenced backyard, with a 7-foot fence. Coyotes can get over a 7-foot fence.
Oh, yeah.
When my dogs are in my backyard, when my dogs, Molly and Willie, are in my backyard, whether I live here in Arizona now or when I lived in Santa Monica, they are never out there unless I am out there with them.
Yeah.
Unless I am out there with them. Now, if you're walking your dog and a small dog, I generally recommend that if you can walk with someone else, that's fine. I can never understand. Maybe someone can explain it to me, because I know in Europe they did it. Why cannot they can't try to spay and neuter some of the coyotes? They're going to be there. They're going to be there. But generally speaking,
it's their land.
But it's our fault. It's our fault. Number one, we took over their property. Number two, we leave our garbage out for them to get food. We leave water out for them to drink. If the food wasn't out there or the water wasn't out there, the coyotes would go somewhere else and find someplace. We have to learn to live with them. They were there first. And the way to do that is safety. The air horns are one way, except in Beverly Hills. The air horns are one way to do that. The other way to do that is just whatever you need, the pepper spray or whatever you need to protect your dog is fine. But the coyotes are going to be there. They're not going anywhere. They're not going away. I don't recommend chasing them away. I don't recommend killing them, obviously. It's their home as well as ours. And just like anything else, we have to learn to live with them. That's the way it is. The more we sprawl out, the more we build suburban areas in their area, the more coyotes are going to be there. In my neighborhood, okay, where I am in Arizona, I am surrounded by mountains. I'm surrounded by woods, yet I live in a community. There, as I said, there's not a day that doesn't go by where I don't see 6 or 7 coyotes. I know coyotes. I know when they're protective. I know when their breeding season is. I know when they're most hungry. But when I'm out there and I have my dogs, Denise is with me. There's always 2 people walking our dogs. I'm always carrying a stick with me, and I'm always carrying an air horn and pepper spray with me. And you know what? It works. It works. So that's the best. I wish I had a better answer, but I don't.
There's nothing to put around, like I don't know, something on.
There are Let me. I got to move on. But there are coyote suits. They have special collars that you can put on a dog that have spikes sticking up. There are special jackets that you can put on a dog that have all kinds of spikes sticking up. So if a coyote goes to grab them, they get the spikes in their mouth and it hurts, and they leave them alone. So that's an alternative as well. They also have something called coyote rollers that go on top of a fence. So when a coyote goes to jump on a fence, it rolls and they fall off. Does it work 100% of the time? No. I got to move on, but we got to learn to live with the coyotes in a safe, sensible way. That, it's horrible for people that lost their dogs, and my heart breaks for them. And it's horrible for people that want to poison and kill the coyotes. somehow, we're all going to have to learn together. Anyway, here's the phone number for the national show. Okay, you can start calling it about 2 minutes after 1. It goes to Washington, D.C., to Radio America, Armed Forces Radio. But you will be my first caller. So if you have a question and you call, because the show actually starts, the national show starts at 6 minutes after 1. So if you start calling at 102, 103, you'll be up there first. Let the phone ring. They're a little slower in D.C. than they are in L.A. Let the phone ring a little bit and make all the difference. Again, check out the website, thepetshow.com. And if you could donate the hugs and kisses, I thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a great show. Enjoy talking to you. Check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. I'll be sharing a lot of information there. And in terms of coyotes, we're never going to get rid of them. We're going to have to learn to live with them or be a lot more cautious with our dogs when we're around them. It's just the way it is. Again, the number for the network show, 877-725-8255, 877-725-8255. Until next week, give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for you, one between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein, and thank you for listening to The Pet Show.